Hello and welcome back to Fallout London, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool rifle in Fallout. This is the Martini Henry rifle, which is just a really cool gun in general. It's not a gun you see pop up all that much in games. I feel like it should, especially in Fallout London. It fits really well here. This is called the vintage rifle in-game, but it is modeled after a Martini Henry rifle, which was the British standard rifle for quite a while. This was actually the very first cartridge firing rifle, at least metal cartridge firing rifle, that the British did adopt. And it's a pretty cool gun. It's a very simple gun because like a lot of early cartridge round rifles, this one is just a single shot. It's almost like a pseudo lever action in a way. Not really, since you just have to drop the falling bluff there and then you can put the round in. Really cool gun. It's really awesome to see it in Fallout London, and it's actually not too rare of a weapon to find. Sometimes you'll find raiders carrying this around or other like mercenaries carrying this around, which I think is pretty fitting because I could definitely see something like Martini Henry still being available in Fallout London's world, where it would still be a gun that would be reasonably accessible to people, and it would be quite reliable, I would imagine, even after so long, because it's kind of hard to screw up a single shot gun. So the vintage rifle for stats does 100 damage per shot, which is quite high. That's very good. I think this is the highest damage per shot of the 303 guns that you can get. Which kind of makes sense. It is a single shot weapon, so it might as well be the strongest. This one's damage per second is actually pretty good because even though it is limited per shot, it still has high damage per shot, so you actually get decent DPS from this, especially when you can one-tap a lot of enemies. The rate of fire on this is a big old 2, does not shoot very fast. You do have to reload it after every single shot. This one has 143 range, which is pretty good, 74 accuracy, which is also very nice. And this one weighs 7.8 weight, which is, I think, actually fairly accurate to a Martini Henry. I don't know exactly the weight of a Martini Henry, but I would imagine it would probably weigh something around there. This one uses the 303 round, which is pretty good because the 303 round is really common in Fallout London, so you can get a lot of ammo for it, even though the real-life Martini would be shooting quite a bit fatter around than this. I wouldn't really say more powerful because it isn't. It's not going as fast, but it is a whole lot fatter. The regular Martini shot something like a 57 caliber round, which is very big, but this is still black powder. It's still very chunky, which makes sense because a lot of old guns tend to fire big rounds, especially when they were black powder, because that's really the only way you can get kind of more damage from it. There's kind of a limit as to how quickly black powder can burn, so you can't really make up for it with speed. The 303 round being in it is pretty awesome though, and this does only hold one round. For the pros of the Martini, this one does really high damage and has really long range. It's very good in both those aspects, as you would kind of hope it would be. The major cons of the Martini, though, are that it is a single shot weapon, so you're going to have to reload it every time. It's also got some awkward iron sights. I don't know why the iron sights are as awkward as they are, but they're not what I'm used to. The sound is also off on the Martini. I think they did actually record a regular shot from it to make the sound file for the gun, but it sounds like they did it outside, and I'm assuming like the mic kind of peaked it, which is why it doesn't sound quite right. I'm used to the Martini sounding like this, and I'm used to the sights kind of looking like this. Hunt Showdown has amazing sound design though, so that certainly helps with all the guns. For an overall rating for the Martini, I'd probably get this like a B tier. I think it's pretty good. Does good damage, has a decent rate of fire, even though it is single shot. It's a little bit limiting indoors, but outdoors, if you can take pot shots at something, it's actually pretty solid, and it's not super difficult to get either. There is a unique version of this, as well as there's mods you can put on this. Let's talk about the unique version, though, because it basically already has all the best mods for the Martini. It is rechambered, though, so it actually does more damage. The unique version is called the Queen's Gambit, and this one looks awesome. I love the colors of it. It is very blinged out. It fits really well. The Martini for upgrades is also very interesting because most of its upgrades require actually 2 skills, and they're not the normal ones that you would see in Fallout 4, because you need things like Fortune Finder to actually upgrade part of this, which is kind of unusual. It gives Fortune Finder another bonus though, which is nice to see. So for the stats, the Queen's Gambit does 487 damage per shot. It does a massive amount of damage. This one has good DPS as well because of how much damage it does. It's really, really common to one-shot things even on the highest difficulty with this. So that's pretty awesome. This has a slightly higher rate of fire at 3, so it does shoot a little bit quicker, which is nice. 359 range, which is very long range. This one still has 74 accuracy, which is quite good. Weighs 8.2, so it doesn't even weigh that much more. This one uses the 50 cal round rather than the 303 round, which makes it one of the more unique weapons to be using that, and it's kind of nice. and this still only holds 1 round. There are some other mods you can put on this, and you can kind of tell that there are some for like the receiver and the barrel and everything. These are all names on the gun, and they go for the regular Martini as well, where you can get like the Queen's Gambit, you can get the extended barrel on there, you can get all of that, and that makes the weapon pretty comparable to this, although this weapon does do the more damage. On top of that, you can actually add even more mods if you would like, since you can put sights on this, but it looks really weird to put some of the scopes on here on the Martini because they put all the modern scopes on there, so you can put like an ACOG and like a red dot and stuff, and it looks cursed. I don't like it as much. If they had some old scopes for the Martini, I think that would look better. It would definitely fit a lot better with the gun overall. So I just keep it the standard iron sights. It just looks better. You can also put suppressors on this, which is a little bit weird. I didn't do that. I actually put an extended barrel on here so that it's even longer, and it took my range up to like 480 something. So you can add quite a lot to this, and it makes for a pretty good just sniping weapon. If you want to be picking off enemies at a distance, it's really good for that. It's really good for initiating fights too, because it's likely going to one-shot anything that you hit. The Queen's Gambit is pretty awesome. It's probably one of my favorite rifles in London. This one I would say is probably an S tier overall. It would have been cool if we had gotten some other mods for the Martini as well, though, especially since I'm so familiar with Hunt Showdown and how that one has a bunch of different mods to it. So you can put a bayonet on the Martini, but it would have been really cool to see the riposte version where it basically has a sword. This is how a real life Martini's bayonet could actually work. There's actually quite a few old rifles that are very similar to this where sabers were adapted as bayonets for them, and the Martini is one of them. That would have been really cool to see. There's also something in Hunt Showdown called the Martini Ironside. The official name of this device I can't actually remember. I tried looking it up but didn't have any luck there. This was an experimental device on the Martini that allowed you to load multiple rounds in. It was very awkward, and I don't think it was ever actually used in real life, but it was actually made. So that would have been another cool thing, and I think it would have fit into the world of Fallout really well. Either way, though, the Martini in this game is pretty awesome. I really like it, and I would highly recommend that you try it out if you play London. So tell me your thoughts on the Martini Henry. I think it's a pretty cool gun. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.